Hi everybody, Mr. Politics here, and welcome to another video. Dear Starmer was challenged today over misleading the public of yesterday's tax rises in yesterday's budget. Sky News political editor, Beth Rigby, she really tore into Starmer today when she interviewed him and asked him about misleading the public over tax rises. Well, I say good for Beth Rigby because normally I can't stand her. Far too long, the mainstream media, lefty media, the likes of Sky News, they've given Starmer a free ride up till now. Well, now it looks like they're going to start to ask him tough questions. And I say good for her because normally, no, I can't stand her. Political views. I mean, after all, she used to give the Conservative prime ministers, or whoever they was, an hard time when she used to interview them. Well, now it's the turn of Starmer. It's about time, and you can see you can see that Starmer was coming up with the usual bullshit as he always comes out with. The usual bullshit he comes out with. He said that he didn't want to talk about the tax rises. No, he couldn't bring himself to talk about that. All he wanted to talk about was the money they were putting into the NHS. He was avoiding the question, as he always do. It's a bit like when he Prime Minister's questions. He always avoids answering the question, doesn't he? Like yesterday, before the budget, he avoided answering questions. But he couldn't escape. He couldn't escape this time. Like I've said, I say good for Beth Rigby. She really caught into him. You could see that she was getting fed up she wasn't getting fed up. She was getting more angry by the minute by Starmer's refusal to admit that he's misled people, the voters. In a, what she was telling him, he lied in manifesto, last year's election manifesto. He lied about he lied about everything. He just wanted to get elected, like Tony Blair when he got elected. He was the same, but this one, Starmer, is the worst prime minister we ever had. I know other prime ministers have avoided answering questions, but this one is a past master at it. But like I've said, you could see that Beth Rigby was getting visibly angry and angrier. I thought she was going to lose her temper with him. If it'd been anybody else, they would have done. And probably would have told Starmer where to go and ended the interview there and then. Of course, Starmer, being the weasel he is, he came up with the usual crap about how tax rises was to fund the NHS. And of course, his other excuse was that people with the broadest shoulders must make sacrifices, pay more tax. Well, the only ones who seem to be paying more tax are the working people. They've got to pay more now. They've got to pay more tax into the next decade, the start of the 2030s. That's when these tax rises will come into effect. I don't know who will be in government then, but let's hope it's not this crap, this shower we have now. Let's hope Starmer and his clowns are no longer in government by the start of the next decade. But like I've said, I don't normally like Beth Rigby. I think she's just a. Sometimes she comes across as a Labour lovey, and I've said many times in previous videos that thanks to her, she was the one who Starmer in voted Starmer in. But like I've said, this time she put Starmer on the spot. Let's hope that when Starmer is interviewed again by some other political journalist, they take him to task about this, which they will, because he's going to do the media rounds and he's not going to like what the journalists ask him. I don't know whether he'll be on, whether he'll be interviewed this weekend on by the political journalist, which I dare say he will be. He'll probably be too scared to show his face. He'll go into hiding like he does. But yes, it's about time Starmer put in his place and Beth Rigby put him in his place, this interview. Like I've said, you can see she was getting fed up. Starmer's lies, constant excuses. He wouldn't answer the question, would he? Kept fobbing her off with some other excuse and say, "Oh, the reason why taxes have gone up is because of, we got to put money into the NHS." I mean, they've given the people who are on benefits a, a rise in their benefits from next April. A lot of people are not going to be pleased about that, but that's the way things go. So what they're doing is they are going to give the people who are on benefits more, but working people got to pay more tax to fund it. Not only that, they, they, more taxes have got to be paid for these migrants to be put into hotels. But it just shows you, doesn't it, what Starmer is. He's an absolute weasel. He shouldn't be. He shouldn't be Prime Minister. Let's hope that sometime next year he's forced out. Well, anyway, that's the end of this video. To Politics here signing off. And remember, don't believe the lies.